Blue moon, you saw me standing alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Blue moon, you knew just what I was there for. You heard me saying a prayer for someone I really could care for. And then it suddenly appeared before me, the only one my arms could ever hold. I heard somebody whisper, please adore me. And when I looked, the moon had turned to gold. Blue moon, now I'm no longer alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. And then it suddenly appeared before me, the only one my arms could ever hold. I heard somebody whisper, please adore me. And when I looked, the moon had turned to gold. Blue moon, you heard me saying a prayer for someone I really could care for. Now I'm no longer alone. Blue moon.
Greetings, good morning, and welcome to another Sunday service. We are going to be talking about Lady Luna today. We are wanting to discuss the effects of the moon, both full and new moon, on us as people. Why, you may ask, in the middle of the month when there's nothing major, we're still a week away from the new moon, why are we talking about this? Well, the reason for that is because we are in the middle of a blue moon situation. May is the month when we have, on the 1st of May, a magical full moon, and on the 31st of May, yet another one. So we have 2 full moons in May, which makes the second one a blue moon. So what exactly does this mean? Well, I'm not going to go into the specifics of how it happens and why it happens. What I am going to tell you is that we need to look at the effect of the moon on us and see what that does to our psyche, what that does to our bodies. Where does that leave us, and what effect is that going to have on us this month? Now, May, according to all the people who know and are clever and understand astrology, is the one month in which a lot of things are going to happen. A lot of apple carts are going to be overturned. A lot of things are just going to be really unstable, and a lot of secrets are going to be revealed. Secrets, hidden stuff, all kinds of stuff that people are talking about. I know last week I spoke about the fact that so many things are getting better. And this full moon is most definitely a purge, a huge big purge. It is on the one hand a letting go, but on the other hand it's also cleaning the slate and offering you a brand new month, a brand new time, and a grand new opportunity for making wonderful things happen in your life. Now, the full moon is quite a tricky situation. There are various things that go on, and I can talk to you about the health effects, pathogens, and all of that, but I'm not interested because really, does it matter? Yeah, I suppose on the one hand it does, because so much research has been done, and the research is really interesting. There was one study which was done in the UK, and they had 30,000 plus people taking part in this, where they proved that there was so much energy, so much more energy during the 5 to 6 days following a full moon, that it was quite incredible. And they reckon that during that time, doctors' rooms are normally completely overrun with things like gout, alcoholism, epilepsy, menstrual cycle problems, road accidents, absenteeism, anxiety, depression, sexual activity, homicides, insomnia, and lunacy. Isn't that interesting? Because lunacy takes its name directly from Lady Luna. That was quite an interesting one. The other thing that I found interesting was that they say that there's approximately an 8% increase reported in average meal sizes, and people drink 25% more liquid during the full moon. What I found interesting about that is that because of who we are, our bodies tend to hold fluid, liquid, and we tend to feel, by the time full moon rolls around, we tend to feel puffy and bloated and just generally uncomfortable. Come the full moon and everything gets released, the excess fluid in our bodies also gets released. So within the first day or two of the full moon cycle, the water actually clears out of our systems and we feel better immediately. Over and above that, we know that the gravitational force of the moon is sufficient to cause oceans to rise, to have huge waves. We sometimes even have spring tide during the full moon. Now, if that can happen to the ocean, just give it a minute of thought about what it does to you as a person, what it does to your body, because it means that all the fluids in your body rises up only to be dumped after the full moon, which means that your glands and organs, everything is affected by this. So it's very interesting to note that as well. We've spoken about lunacy. Now, lunacy refers directly to the moon. And it is because of this that we need to be so very careful. Because people during a new moon can be very nasty. You know, our subconscious minds are very much affected by the moon. but it normally plays out. We normally see the effects of our subconscious mind playing out over the new moon period. The hidden stuff, the things that are not obvious. What is interesting, though, with full moon is you very often see people's real colors during the full moon. Although it's a good and a positive place, it's also a place that can bring up all your negativities. So you have to be careful around things like depression, violent behavior, road rage, migraines, asthma, and even, and specifically bees, who seem to sting a lot more and unprovoked during the full moon period. Now, it's interesting that gout attacks peak during the full moon, and they say this is because of the changing geomagnetic fields. So when we think of our internal body rhythms, one of the things that is very much influenced by that is the pineal gland. And that is affected by the moon's light and slightly warmer temperature. It is known, the pineal gland is also known by us as the third eye, which is a tiny endocrine gland in the brain. It produces the serotonin derivative melatonin, a hormone that affects the modulation of awake and sleep patterns. It is believed that the pineal gland is very much active, and many people are more intuitive, more highly intuitive during the new moon phase than during the full moon phase. In fact, there are many things that can be said for both full moon and new moon. But I decided that what I'm going to do today is spend a bit of time with you and give you some ideas, small rituals, small things that you can do, and you can start doing them now. You do not have to wait for the full moon. You can start working with this now, because we know that this full moon is quite a powerful one. And because it's such a powerful one, we should work towards it. We should prepare for it. We should reach deep inside. We should use the energy of the new moon that is coming up now in this coming week to look at ourselves, to look deep into our own eyes, to find the priest or priestess energy within us. Because we've all been there. We've all been in touch with that energy. We all have within us that beautiful, authentic power of the goddess. The power of your emotions, your wisdom, your value, your intuition, all of that is there for you, just waiting to be embraced, to be used, and to be loved. So in order to do that, we need to spend some time with ourselves. We need to absolutely look at everything. And then from there, we need to do whatever we can do to create beauty, magic, and absolute mystic energy for ourselves. So we're going to start with the following. We're going to start with the new moon rituals, including embracing the heart energy. Now, the heart is probably the most important thing. It is the core of all our spiritual work. It is where the God force is anchored. It is from where we really operate when we are in touch with the God within. So what are we going to do? We are going to be patient with ourselves and the emotions that are coming up at this time. There will be a lot of emotions. It's normal, and especially now it's very normal because we have on the 31st, we have really released so much stuff that we are now being given the opportunity to repopulate our heart, to repopulate our energy field by putting into it whatever we are desiring, whatever our vision is for the future. Breathe into your emotions. Offer them a safe resting place, a place where it is safe to express itself. But remember always to be gentle with yourself. The next thing you want to do is practice selfless sharing, selfless service by doing something for someone else. It could be a stranger, it could be your best friend, it could be somebody that doesn't even fit into your life. But I want to challenge you. I want to ask you to take at least one person a week that is somebody you would not normally reach out to. In fact, it could even be somebody that you would not normally reach out to because you don't like them, or you've seen them, but you've never gone to the trouble of getting to know them. Just reach a little bit further than the tip of your nose. Make this selfless practice. Then we are going to look at expressing ourselves. This could be through voice, it could be through movement, singing, speaking, moving. Anything from a place of your authentic heart, where you truly feel and know that this is sincere. You want to create something sincere from your own body and soul. So it could be something that you want to give away. It could be something that you're making for yourself. Or it could be something that you speak or express in some way, but do it. Let your body engage with your spirit and express itself. The next thing we are going to look at is gratitude. This is the time when we have to look around us and be grateful, truly grateful for the wonderful things that we have in our lives and that we experience in our lives. And it's important for us to then look around at the people maybe in our work life, at our offices, wherever we encounter people, express gratitude if and when the opportunity allows it. You want to do this. You want to thank the great mystery. You want to thank Spirit for all the wonderful blessings that you receive from it. Then there is intentional design. Intentional design means that you are going to take the reins of your life and you are going to create some order. You are going to sit down, you are going to decide what goes where, organize everything. This is my personal life. This is my career. This is my social life. Put them in there. Put them into specific spaces. And make this reflect who you truly are. Do only that which reflects who you are inside. You will not regret it. Then we are going to do moon prayers. With a full moon light, write down or speak your prayers, either to and for yourself, for others, and you are just going to open up and pray for the planet. Allow the moon, this radiant moon, to amplify your prayers, to carry them to spirit, to have them fulfilled. You know how many people talk to me about prayer and how they pray for others or to others, but then you ask them about it and they don't remember what they said. Remember, when you pray, you have to be present. That is so important. The moon priestess, on the other hand, which is what we are saying, we are wanting to stand up and embrace our moon priestess, will make time for quiet and stillness as the moon rises. Literally meditate every night in the full moonlight. Allow yourself to open up and receive intuitive guidance. What is so magical about that, you may ask? You know, embracing your priestess energy, standing in your power, being who you truly are, that is magic. And when other people see that, they get courage from that. They are inspired by it. It makes them feel better about themselves. And it makes them believe that there is always something better to look forward to. This would be a good time for you to reclaim your sovereignty. It would be a good idea to write down all the circumstances and situations. Write down everything that you blame other people for, other circumstances for, anything where your discomfort, your unhappiness, anything like that you do not own, you're going to write down. Take personal accountability by writing down all the choices, attitudes, and actions, including non-action, that are keeping you from living your full potential. Write down what it is that you are ready to release, and everything and everyone whom you are wanting to be released, so that they can get on with their lives and you can make your own destiny. Because when you allow other people to stand in the way because of your blaming them, you are getting absolutely nowhere. You're going around in circles because somebody who's not done something will not do it again. That is so important. Then we are going to speak in the first person. So when you speak about your personal experiences, begin with I. Always, instead of saying you, and you are going to say, I did this. You would say, I made a decision. I chose to do X, Y, Z. Really drawing the energy back into yourself. Not only does this create power in your speech, but it also brings clarity to your body's intelligence and to who you really are. And that is so important. Then we are going to organize and release with the intent to beautify. So we are going to let go of objects that does not support our joy. We are going to declutter and clean. We're going to organize our home space in and out. This moving of energy supports clearing and cleansing on all levels. And it welcomes the full moonlight to activate you, your loved ones, your home, all the spaces in your home. And remember, just as an aside, to cleanse your crystals, whether it is by placing them in salt, in moonlight, or in water. But doing this will just bring so much beauty into your house, and it will give you joy. And remember, decluttering, and this is my take on it. I know there are a lot of people around here who would not agree with me, but decluttering for me is not just getting rid of things. Decluttering for me is getting rid of that which no longer brings you joy. Stuff that you brought to fill up spaces. Stuff that no longer brings you joy, or that may remind you of something or someone that was not conducive to joy from your past. Let that go. And then finally, if it is at all possible for you, commune. Make time in the next week or so to gather in an intentional way with loved ones or specific people within your groups. And if you don't have a group, create one. For now is the time to be with the energy of the collective. Now is the time to hold hands. Now is the time to honor one another. Now is the time to rise up and say, I want to be counted. I want to be one of you. Our affirmation for this week. The moon reminds me that all experiences are like the cycles of the moon, and that every full moon is always followed by a promising new moon. Beloved Father, Mother God, I want to take this time to thank you for all the promises of a new life that we are seeing, that we are hearing about. There is so many talking about the new world that is awaiting us. There's so much hope. There is so much vision if we can simply stop deciding for ourselves how it must be and open our hearts and minds to what you are trying to tell us. We thank you for knowing that you will never forsake us, that you will never forsake the earth, and that you will always have our backs. It literally is a matter of us having to decide what we are going to stand up for, what we are going to show up for. Help us to put our egos aside and to allow our hearts to guide us, and to always, whatever we do it with you and the example that you have set for us in mind. Take our hand, precious Lord, and guide us. Protect us and remind us to love
you and everything else that you have given us with so much grace. Amen.
Blue moon, you saw me standing alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own.